The warehouse is open. Tales from the Warehouse, Volume 42, the 2024-2025 MeiGray Puck Program. Pleased to welcome, for the very first time to these airwaves, our new friend, Connor Howey. He's the MeiGray Puck Program Director. He's also the Nashville Predators sales lead. Connor, welcome to Tales from the Warehouse. Welcome inside from the warehouse. We'll get you to tell some tales. We appreciate your time, sir. What's going on?
Nothing much, Scott. I'm happy to be here.
We are happy to have you. New face in a new place in MeiGray. So before we get to the 2024-2025 Puck Program at MeiGray, talk to me a little bit about yourself. Where you're from, favorite teams, a little bit of background. Everybody can see over your shoulder and on your dome. You got the good lettuce. You got the Wings, go Wings, go. You got the MGO Blue Booster Club in the background. There's a Red Wings reverse retro over the shoulder. I'm guessing we got Michigan roots here, sir. Talk to me.
Oh, yeah. I'm born and raised Southeast Michigan. I lived there for 20 years, moved out to Pennsylvania to join MeiGray. But as far as sports allegiance goes, as far as professional sports, everything Detroit. From Tigers to Red Wings to, Lions. Pistons, not so much. I'm not a big basketball guy.
Understood.
But and then for college, University of Michigan's number 2. Eastern Michigan is number 1.
There you go. Very nice. Very well done. Dare I ask, go to a lot of games with family, with friends growing up, whether they were Tigers or Wings at the Joe or at Little Caesars or checking out the Lions in their variety of homes?
Yeah, I lived about 20 minutes from the big house. So that was probably my number 1 venue growing up, was going there and watching Michigan football. Number 2 is definitely Little Caesars Arena. I caught, maybe 2 or 3 games at the Joe, but for the most part, it's been all Little Caesars Arena for me. And then I've actually, been to Comerica a few times as a fan, and I actually worked there for a season. Funny enough, I have yet to go to a game or any sort of event at Ford Field. So when I go back to Michigan, I need to knock that off my bucket list.
Okay, all right. Rewind for a second. You worked at Comerica. Tell me more.
Yeah, I actually worked for the Detroit Tigers Foundation at Comerica Park. So I actually was right in the thick of it, helping them with 50/50 raffle sales and helping, with their community efforts. And funny enough, once the season was over, I actually hopped right over to Little Caesars Arena and helped the Detroit Red Wings Foundation with the team over there. So it was a really cool experience because I got to actually see the underside of these arenas that I always spent so much time in the seats of. And so it gave me a really good and different perspective on, a lot of these stadiums.
There's something to be said when you get to go through the bowels of an arena, a professional arena or college. It doesn't matter. And you're like, wow, where am I? Oh, my God, you're under, the wall of student seating, or turn right. And then you realize that there are TV trucks parked there, ambulances parked there, visiting buses parked there. And that's just they came down like the main entrance tunnel. That's not even the proper parking deck where players may or may not be. Like, you're like, holy smoke. And then once you walk out to the football field, the basketball court, the ice rink, the baseball field, and you look around, that's stuff. I mean, that's bucket list stuff right there, Connor. We all dream of hitting a walk-off homer, scoring a touchdown, making a game-saving interception, scoring an overtime goal, whatever. But it starts small. If you have exposure on walk-on-the-field day or Sunday at your favorite minor or major league ballpark, kids get to run the bases. Like, that's unmatched. Short of walking on the moon or walking at Augusta during the practice round. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Definitely.
dream big, but start small. And if you get to ever do stuff like that's like, it's like, oh man, this is really awesome. And then, hey, if you get to play at a certain level or get to use the rink or get to make it to a show, God bless, full respect. But hey, if you're down there and you look up, you're like, holy smokes, this is really cool.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. I think one job I hadn't experienced that with is back when I was in college in Eastern Michigan. I was lucky enough to work for the equipment staff for the football team that they had there. And so I worked the past season, and it was it's probably one of the most favorite jobs I've ever had. I mean, it was incredible actually being able to be behind the scenes, but also work with the team, the players and the coaches and everybody that, works together to get that stuff off the ground. And, you talk about looking up and seeing the stadium. One moment that I remember that with is last year we had a road game at the University of Minnesota, good Big Ten program, and it was a night game. So, we get there. I'm on the Minnesota sideline because I'm working as the ball boy for Eastern Michigan. So I got EJ Fleck over to my left.
Rowing the
and I got the rest of the team.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Ski-U-Ma everywhere. And I look up and you got the lights and everything, and you got the fans and the student section over there. I mean, what an incredible atmosphere.
That's really tremendous. I mean, we could honestly, Connor, when you come back, we could do a whole podcast on what's it like to be the equipment guy for a D1 college team.
Oh,
any little snippet of, oh my gosh, again, we're collectors. We'll get to that in a split second. We'll talk about the puck program. It's Tales from the Warehouse, volume number 42. I'm Scott. That's Connor. We'll talk about the Preds. We'll talk about the pucks. But any little sort of snippet from, being the guy who got the gear thrown at him post game. Hey, here you go. And you're like, oh, catch. You're a wings guy. So you are the octopus catching shoulder pads and chin and helmets. And you're like, I'm sure there's got to be stories aplenty. Do you have one little
definitely.
snippet?
Yeah, I think one big thing is whenever you do get a chance to rest, it's never very long. I remember having days, especially on the road, you're working 12, 14 hours before you finally get a chance to go and sit down and go, wow, that was fun. So the hours are long, but they're worth it. They're so worth it.
I'm sure. All right. As far as collections go, you're a Detroit guy at heart. Does the collection run multi-sport? Does it run outside of the Motor City? What do you like to collect? Whether it's game worn, game used, authentics, fill us in.
Yeah, my collection's a little bit all over the place. It does have a center around Detroit and the Motor City. I collect hockey for the most part. I collect a little bit of baseball, and recently I've been getting into football quite a bit, with the NFL. It starts at Detroit, but I like to branch out at different designs that I like. One example is, the Katrina of the Arizona Coyotes, especially that away jersey. Phenomenal. Love it. As far as types, I will go for game worn or authentic. Usually whatever my wallet is okay with.
Understood. No, it's, what, as I like to hashtag all this stuff when I talk about it on social media, hobby responsibly. And cost is definitely in there, because if you're not doing it with cost in mind and comfort and what can the budget afford, you are doing it incorrectly, because then you may have to sell super quick, and you don't want to do that either. Card guy or not so much, or what got you into the collecting space, Connor?
Yeah, cards, not so much. I got a couple here and there, but it's not a big thing for me. I mean, as far as collecting goes, I definitely joined during the COVID bubble, when I think a lot of other people did too. And I started with hockey because that's my first love. I played hockey since I was 7 or 8 years old. And I started, with the lower tier replica jerseys, and probably, only after like 6 months, I was like, all right, these aren't the good stuff. I want what they wear out there on the ice. And so it just kind of went up from there.
I totally understand. All right, let's get into the MeiGray angle. 2024-2025 MeiGray Puck Program and Nashville Predators sales lead is why we are here talking about this on the Tales from the Warehouse, volume 42. What are you most excited about as you take the reins, the director of the Puck Program?
Oh, that's a good one. I think for me, the big thing, when I came into that Puck Program, was being able to streamline the ability for collectors to come in and be able to find the pucks that they want without any hassle. Back at MeiGray, I would estimate that we probably have some 25,000 pucks in the warehouse, and so from day one, it's been going through creating a new system to organize these pucks. Where is everything? And, can we find it? And so when we can, it makes it a lot easier for us to be able to offer collectors, cool pucks that they thought were gone that they couldn't get anymore. And so I think that's really what I'm most excited about.
As far as being the Pred sales lead, taking over for our friend Gray Richards, that's exciting. New players, great fan base, passionate collecting base too. I'm sure all of those make for a really cool recipe when taking over a gig like this.
Oh, definitely. With the off season they had, with Stamkos, Marchessault, I mean, one would hope for more success with the team, but I believe that will come with time as the players get chemistry with each other. Really, the big fish for me with the Predators is Stamkos. I've got family down in Tampa Bay, so I've always kind of had a soft spot for them as far as hockey goes. Hedman, Stamkos, Vasilevsky. So to see Stamkos leave Tampa Bay, but then come to Nashville, what a great opportunity.
Totally understandable. All right, let's focus on the pucks. Give me a little bit of an overview of the puck program. It's been around, and I like the fact that you've already mentioned, I want to make it more streamlined, more accessible. There are so many pucks that it tends to be, and I don't say this with any negativity, it can be a little bit of an overwhelming vein of collecting because you're like, all right, the sweaters, we got population report, that helps. But with pucks, we go to NHL arenas, there are nets up. We know that there are goal pucks, there are usage pucks, there are shutout pucks, there are pucks that are warm-up. There's tons of ways to get into the puck collecting space. And I do have to be careful how I say that, Connor. But talk to me a little bit about the overview of the 2024-2025 situation.
Yeah. So, when it comes to pucks, there's really, you put it perfectly. There's 4 different categories that we're really looking at here is the warm-up pucks, the game pucks that are used in a shutout, and then the goal pucks. And so we've kind of created like 4 different categories for these. And, for our program, we're really looking at, the goal pucks first and foremost. We want to make it easy for people to be able to find a specific goal from a game that they went to that sticks in their mind, something like that. And so continuing the trend from last year and bringing it forward into this year, we're focusing on only doing chronological auctions with everything we get. So if we get the puck, it will go to auction on a chronological timeline. It will not, and if it's not in the auction, we never get it. So this hopefully will make it a lot easier for people to be able to find a specific goal that they remember, at a game.
So as far as the authentication process, because this is fun, obviously, we've talked to Mr. Spade, we've talked to the sweater guys here, and Jeff, in charge of authenticating the NHL sweaters that come through MeiGray with the partner teams and whatnot. Tell me a little bit, Connor, what you can about the authentication process for these game pucks.
Yeah, so it's so different from the jerseys because every team is different in the way that they do their pucks. So, for example, a lot of the teams that you usually see when you get a goal puck, they tape the outside, they tape the circumference of the puck.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll write down who scored it, what team they're on, what game it was for. Well, for some teams, they don't do that at all. For example, Columbus does not put any sort of tape on the puck. They write all the information on a bag and then put the bag in a box, and then they send it to me.
Like it's your elementary school lunch. Here you go. Sandwich, Ziploc, note.
Yeah.
And you know what? For them, it makes sense.
Oh, yeah. It works, and so you definitely do get, some teams are easier than others once they reach my desk. Like Nashville, I find very easy to do because of the information that they put on the puck, and I can stack it, organize it, and then the nice thing with this year that we're doing versus previous years is, the first thing I do when I get there every morning is I open up a spreadsheet, I keep track of the home games for our program teams, and I log in to my spreadsheet every goal that was scored. So I have the information of who scored it, what career goal it was, who assisted, and when did it. And so what this allows us to do now is that when I receive the pucks, I can go into my spreadsheet and I can mark off, did I get this puck or not? So if somebody does email us, say 4, 5, 6 years from now, hey, back in 24-25, did you get Leach Cup's first goal at home? I can tell them yes or no based off of the spreadsheet that I have in the system, and not just, I don't.
So who's scooping it up from the ice? NHL referee, and then it goes right to the the equipment person who, and you're in contact with a lot of these guys. I mean, the process is, again, in talking to Jeff and in talking to the other MeiGray family about how the sweaters come in at the end of a set, whatever. You're more of it's like colleges do rolling admissions. You got rolling stuff. I mean, do you get packages every week, every couple days, every homestand, every month, how's it working? As much as you can talk a little bit about making the donuts.
Yeah. So again, each team is totally different. Where at MeiGray, we have we're close to New Jersey and Philadelphia. So for New Jersey's pucks, I receive them on about a weekly basis. Philadelphia's pretty close, a week to every 2 weeks. But you get the teams that are further, like Columbus and Nashville, it's more on a monthly basis. And so it does make it a little bit hard sometimes to, when people ask me, when's the next auction? I don't even know the answer to that question because it depends on when I get the pucks,
right,
and when I can authenticate them. And then, okay, we have enough to run an auction. As far as who retrieves the puck, if you watch the games, if the referee is the one going to the net and receiving the puck, it is a lot more likely that you will end up seeing it at MeiGray versus if a player goes into the net and receives the puck and gets the puck out.
Understood.
Because if the player gets the puck and they toss it to the equipment staff on the bench, it's very likely that it's going to the locker room and staying with the player. You'll see that a lot of times with first goals, milestones, stuff like that. But if the linesman's getting the puck, usually they will take it over to the scorekeeper box, and that is where the information is recorded. And so that's essentially the, buttering the bread for me.
Understood. And again, all part of a process. Each team handles it differently. Dare I ask about photo matching, or that's something that is on the purchaser, on the customer, on the fan, because some of these will, let's be frank. And again, you see a lot of these pucks, they're going to have characteristics. They're going to have pieces of the logos missing. They're going to have chunks cut out from usage from a dude's skate who's, Alex Ovechkin or Tom Wilson size, or, not the biggest person. They're going to have all sorts. And if you can see something like that, fantastic. But that will all be part of the puck story. I mean, again, and I've brought this up before, the MeiGray tagline this year of "It's your jersey, he's just wearing it." That is your puck. They're just using it for a little while. And if you can, again, it's not needle in a haystack stuff, because these pucks have so many markings and characteristics. But if you do get a good shot or some excellent high quality video, go with God, man. That's a hell of a catch.
I'd be lying if I said I haven't thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pucks that we get where there's a big dash running down the center of the logo. And if you got a picture of it, you'd be able to see it. And so, like I said, I'd be lying if I haven't gone to look at the goal videos just out of curiosity to see if there's something I can find. And, with how many photos and videos and all the technology that we have today, there's definitely some of these pucks that if you put your mind to it, you could probably find something for. But on the other side of that, there's also a lot of pucks you're never going to find anything for. I've seen pucks come through the door that look incredibly correct, and I've seen others that are missing chunks out of the side. So it all depends on how long was it on the ice for, and who was using it, all that stuff.
Very, very cool. Talking to Connor Howey. It's volume 42, Tales from the Warehouse, the 2020, 2024, 2025 MeiGray Puck Program. Connor also has an email. I'm guessing it is, let's see, chowey@meigray.com. And if you're interested in getting information about the Puck Program, or of course, Nashville Predators, because he's the sales lead, email Connor. As you can tell, he's the best kind of chatty. He likes telling stories, and we like having him here inside the warehouse. A lot about pucks, more about pucks. any special initiatives or sort of the limited editions, planned for the 2024-2025 season? And also, teams live in their own world of promotions. A lot of these things they do need to run by the NHL ahead of time, which is why you will, if you're a season ticket holder or just an avid fan of a certain organization, you'll know well in advance if they're doing blank night, and maybe they got something special on that warm-up. So I asked the question, but I already know half the answer. Check your local listings, or as they say, your mileage may vary, Connor.
Yeah, I will say for the Washington Capitals, we did a fun one with them where, it's obviously their 50th anniversary. They unveiled a new logo for it, which is the patch that they're wearing on the ice. And they also brought back the black Skrigal jersey, which I believe they're wearing recently, if not tonight.
Mm-hmm. They wore it in, when this gets released, they wore it in a Wednesday night, November 6th matchup against the Nashville Predators. And they're, because their 50th season, they're doing all sorts of crazy fun stuff pretty much every home game. There's wild stuff going on. I think a cowboy hat was given out ahead of this for, in honor of country music and Nashville's visit. So yeehaw and go Tyler Childers if that's your jam.
Yeah. For Washington, we took it upon ourselves to talk with, in Glasgow, the company that makes the pucks. And we wanted to put the 50th logo somewhere on that puck to commemorate the season. And so what we did is on the backside of the puck, you'll see it for the warm-up pucks in silver, is that 50th logo. Nice and big on the back of the pucks. And so I wasn't just satisfied with that. I wanted to take it a step further. So on that Wednesday game where they're wearing the Skrigal jersey, the logo on the puck will not be the Washington Capitals' normal 50th anniversary logo. It will actually be the black Skrigal logo on the puck with the Nashville Predators logo on the other side.
That's a great touch, and kudos for the creativity. All too often, pucks are classic. They are obviously a key tool of the game. But if you can make it a little bit more fun, why not? Special for the players. They may get a kick out of it. We know that Alex Ovechkin loves the Skrigal logo and loves that sweater, and it's a classic. And by the way, not sure what's left for the pre-order for the Capitals Reverse Retro for this set one, but if you have never seen that version of the Reverse Retro, it's drop dead gorgeous. I'll leave it at that. So, again, available at MeiGray.com, sales at MeiGray.com, contact Dave, and again, for all your Nashville Predators needs, contact Connor. But making it fun and making it just a little more special is something that will help drive the interest. And not even that, there's tons of interest, as we all saw, in the Capitals pieces, whatever it is they're wearing and using for this 50th, Connor. They've, people are raving. And the start's been hella fine, too, because not a lot of people expected them to be doing this, what they're doing after a dozen games either. The expectations were sort of meh. They lose Roy in the first or second game to an injury. They don't look that great. And again, I am saying this from a Caps fan. They've surpassed all expectations so far. People are like, holy shoot, I gotta jump on this. Doing the Skrigal logo on that puck is chef's kiss. Auctions, as we talked about, as they come in, they go out. So pay attention. If you have any questions whatsoever, definitely email you. Obviously, you're a huge hockey fan, not just from Detroit, not just from the MeiGray partner teams, but overall, it's a league of stars. It's a league of young stars. I'm sure that you've been circling some proverbial calendar dates for matchups to look forward this year, whether it's a Bedard or a McDavid who's just come back from injury, or a Celebrini or Crosby who's been on a tear over the last 10 days as we record this, or Austin Matthews. I mean, there's, what have you been looking forward to when these pucks come in too, by the way? Talk to me a little bit about your excitement level. Everybody loves a good unboxing story.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I had one today with our Nashville Predators pucks that we received for the month of October. And, being a Red Wings fan, the Red Wings played Nashville a couple of weeks ago. And so it was really fun getting to dig through. Basically, the first thing was I opened the box and I started digging through the bags looking for, Detroit at Nashville to see which pucks we got from that game. And it was really fun getting to look. I can say now that we had Larkin's, goal from that game on the power play, which was assisted by Alex DeBrincat and Patrick Kane. And so that's a really fun goal that,
It's a
have
hell
there.
of a fun goal. Yes, those are names
Oh, yeah.
that right.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And so and as far as other teams go, I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those players. I mean, especially the younger guys that are starting to come into the league, like Edvinson, Bedard, you've mentioned a couple of other ones, Carlson on the docks. There's just so much talent that's coming into the league, whether it be from North America or Europe, that there's always something to look forward to with every game and every matchup. You're never getting a matchup that doesn't have some sort of excitement attached to it.
And from the young guys, we do go to the older guys, and obviously everybody always wants to focus on Ovechkin and the chase, and I totally get that. But there are tons of other milestones, whether it be a first, whether it be an nth or an 50th or a whatever. There's loads of milestone goal pucks for MeiGray program teams that are in action on a regular basis. And the cool part about the NHL is, Connor, and you know this, you don't know what's going to happen on any given night, whether it's a recent call-up or whether it's, Tom Wilson with his first 4-goal game, or whether it's, and again, from my mouth to God's ears, especially if you have him in fantasy or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? It's such a fun and fast league, and the fact that this is available through the MeiGray Puck program just makes for another little avenue to be in touch with your hockey heroes and collect something that's a little off the beaten path. I mean, people love pucks. People love catching them, or the warm-ups, or what have you. Or, hey, I'm a big Lundqvist guy, and I love when shutout pucks come up for auction or up for sale or what have you. I mean, it just gets you into the game. If you're a sweater person, awesome. But there are a lot of people who are stick people, puck people, and MeiGray makes it possible to grab that jungle vine and swing through the jungle, grabbing all the pucks that go along, Connor. I've ran too much. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing we've looked towards doing this year too is how can we make each puck more unique? Instead of just having a puck that's, a goal puck. What else happened that game? Was there a shutout? Did a player play in a 100th game? Was there a milestone that happened? And so something that I've really taken the initiative in doing is whenever I get pucks, I always go through the game notes and I look for anything special that happened during the game. And if there is, I put it on the label. And so that makes each puck have more of an, little more oomph, a little more uniqueness to it, so that it's even more enjoyable.
It's a great way to go about it. Every sweater tells a story. Every stick tells a story. And certainly pucks tell lots of stories. And it could be a goal. It could be an assist. It could be, oh, wow, this may be that puck from that amazing save. Or this may be the puck that was featured in a late game saving block during a key win. And you're like, I know it's this because, and maybe you got it in super high def, or maybe you were there in the front row and you went that game and you're like, hey, again, it's my puck. They're just playing with it. All good. Connor, this has been a pleasure, brother. I hope to do it again. And next time you're on, we want to hear more equipment stories from EMU, because this I'm really looking forward to. Instead of like Tales from the Warehouse, we could call it Tales from the Laundry Cart or something like that.
Oh, that would be perfect. I definitely worked with plenty of those.
Very good. Reach out to Connor at chowey@meigray.com. He is the Nashville Predators sales lead. He is also in charge of the MeiGray Puck Program. You can call him Mr. Director. For Connor, I'm Scott. Till next time, Tales from the Warehouse, Volume 42, talking 2024, 2025. MeiGray Puck Program. The warehouse is closed.